Howdy. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to my second instructional video. And before we get started with any new stuff, I want to fix a few mistakes that I made on my last instructional video. They're not like blatant, raging, huge mistakes, but just things that I found a lot of people have seemed to overlook, probably because I didn't really explain them well enough. About a good 99.9% of the last video was all based on this kind of thing, the old 3-note per string, kind of like picking, alternate picking string with a downstroke, kind of thing. Millions of variations on that, and it's all based on being able to do that lick, cleanly and with some amount of control. But one thing that is pretty easy to forget, or must be because I've seen a bunch of people doing it, is forgetting about things like dynamics and control of the general tone of the string. By that I mean like being able to mute it when you want to, or being able to have it open. And by dynamics, being able to play it real light and mute it if you want, or real open and loud. And the basic way to practice this is just by doing that exact thing. A clean tone helps. I mean, if you turn down your volume a little bit and get like a twangy kind of clean tone, you can hear it a lot better. So initially, just try that lick, but do it real quiet and muted, and try to do it at a tempo where it's pretty quick, that you're comfortable with. Something like, then try the same thing, but hit it real hard and don't mute it. And then try to go between the two different feels. If you can play it quicker, great. But this takes a lot more control than just hitting everything with the same attack and the same volume. And this will really help you to give it a more musical, just put it in context musically better in any way you play it in a song or in an unaccompanied solo. It'll give you a lot more control. It's a lot more expressive that way. With distortion, it'll sound a little bit more like this. Let me try it like this. I'll hit it real light and muted first. Start hitting it harder. Muted. Now, if you're not comfortable with this lick yet, or any, fast picking things, just try it with maybe a single note. Take like an A note on the D string or something, and just practice playing that in one note, real lightly and real muted and quiet, and then get real loud with it. You can take any tempo you want. Maybe start off with something like, and get louder, not faster, but louder. Now, the actual technique for this isn't necessarily hitting it much harder with a pick, but using more of the pick to hit it, which ends up hitting the string harder. In other words, I'm sort of lowering my pick into the string. When I'm picking it lightly, I'm still picking it pretty hard, but you're just using the very tip of the pick, And then I lower the pick in to hit it harder because it uses a larger part of the pick, so it whacks it a little bit better, That's how, even when you pick lightly, you're still picking pretty hard, but you're only using a little teeny part of the end of the pick, so it still has a lot of control, but it has the kind of dynamics that you want, the kind of dynamic control that you want. And it's a really, really good exercise to control that. Again, try to do a lot of different tempos. Maybe start out with something slow like that, and then if you can, with practice, start to speed it up, A lot of different things. Another thing is accenting, being able to accent certain notes sort of on purpose. A great way of practicing that is, again, the same kind of idea. Maybe you could take a number, a very musical number like 8, and accent, play 8 notes and accent the first one. So go like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the 1 is always accented, and the other ones are quieter, And again, that's pretty slow tempo, all alternate picking. Try speeding it up a little bit. Again, that takes a lot more control than just hitting, just doing straight, sort of non-dynamic version of it, or not accented. You can also practice that by reversing the stroke, starting with an upstroke instead. A little bit harder. Upstrokes just tend to be a little bit harder. It's a great exercise, and it sort of gives you a speed limit on your whole picking. You'll never get any simpler than just playing one note and picking it. So you know that if you start doing things where you go to other strings, or doing string skipping or whatever, it's going to be a lot more complicated, and then chances are it's going to have to be slower than anything you do. So in other words, see how quick you can get with and control everything on one note, and then you have that as sort of your speed limit for other licks. Again, an example of that, if you can do this, it means that you're going to probably not have too much trouble doing something a little more complex that's the same picking speed. And but you're not going to be able to exceed that. And that's the first thing.